podcast number 47. My name is Mallory, otherwise known as Just a Dose of Love all around the internet. So you can find me on Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, and Ravelry under Just a Dose of Love, though I am most active on Instagram. I am recording today from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where I live with my favorite feline, Sasika Sonia, Chris, and a snake named Heidi. And it is December 11th. It is about 10:30 a.m. And welcome to the podcast. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming to join me today. If you're a new viewer, this is a video podcast about knitting and crafts and whatever else I really happen to be making at the time. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to jump right into what is on my needles. Now, if you tuned into the last episode, this is going to be a familiar project. Unfortunately, I have done no additional work on my Peperomia sweater, which is by Woolen Pine, but I still think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I do want to show you. So I will just jump right into it then. So this is my very first color work project ever, and it is a sweater. It's also my very first fingering weight yarn sweater. So this is one of the yarns used in the project. This is the Knit Picks on their Hawthorn fingering base. It is the Ashland tonal hand painted. So it's this nice, beautiful, dark purple. It's just got those nice tones, light and dark, all the way through it. And the other one, which I don't have the ball of yarn with me, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like in this project, which is gorgeous, is this pink. This is also one of the Knit Picks brand yarns. It's their Hawthorn fingering and it's the Berlin Game. Both of these are an 80/20 superwash and fine Highland wool polyamide blend. And there it is. Isn't it gorgeous? It's called the Peperomia pattern, which is a type of plant. The leaves kind of look like this, and you can see as the pattern goes on, the leaves start to fall apart a little bit. So it's kind of like they're decomposing as the sweater goes up, and I'm actually to the point now where I'm done with the color work portion of the body of this sweater. So it's knit bottom up, and I'm almost to the point now where I'm separating for the sleeves, which is why I haven't made too much extra work on this extra progress on this sweater pattern, because honestly I'm a little scared. I don't really want to mess it up, and I'm just a little bit scared. I'm knitting this up on 2.5 millimeter needles, which is also US number 1, and they are 90 centimeters, which is also 31 inches, circular needles. And because I've heard that people like to see the floats at the back, here's what my floats look like. So not too shabby, if I say so myself. Mind you, I don't actually know what you want to aim for, but I think these look pretty darn good. So yeah, it's my Peperomia sweater. Maybe I'll do some work on it over the holidays. Who knows? I really should because I would like to finish it, but I'm just scared. So it is what it is. We'll see. We will see. What else do I have on my needles? This is also going to be a familiar project from the last episode. I'm working on a pair of vanilla socks with this self-striping yarn that I picked up in Ontario. I'm just unrolling the sock right now. I haven't made too much extra progress on this one either, although I have a little bit of a better reason for it. I have misplaced the paper that I had the measurements that I need this to be, and I haven't found it yet. Mind you, I haven't looked too hard, so for now I just have this sock too. So I did mention it's a self-striping. What it is, it's more like a self-patterning sock, and look at how pretty that is. So this is the Drops yarn on their Fable print. It is color number 542, and it is a 75-25 superwash merino and polyamide blend. So there it is. I'm making this up on, I'm knitting this up on 2.5 millimeter needles, also US size 1. They are 23 centimeters / 9 inches round. So they are just little itty bitty circulars, which are my favorite for making socks. I think I'm probably pretty darn close to the toe, which is why I've stopped. I would hate for this to be a really, really long sock for someone who might not really want a long sock. So I think this is probably where the toe should be. I just really need to double check, because otherwise I'm gonna have a sock made, two socks eventually, and they're not even gonna fit the intended recipient. So that is not gonna be any good. And really, I just need to put some extra time into trying to find this piece of paper. I have a pretty good idea of where it is, but it's also a little bit of a craft supply area in my house, and let's be real, those get a little unruly, from time to time. I'm sure someone out there knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, and I do have a new project to show you as well. So one of the things I really wanted to do, or wanted to learn at the beginning of this year for 2021 was brioche. And I've been talking about it for a while, and I just, again, I was scared to try it, to dip my toes in, as it were. And I finally decided to try it. So I found this hat pattern on Ravelry that I really liked. It happens to be a free pattern. It is the Fern Cap. Where is that in my notes? The Fern Cap by Courtney Spainhauer, and it's found on Ravelry. I'll provide a link below. And I'm using up some of my leftover yarns from previous projects. And I had 70% of this hat done yesterday. But I realized that I knit where I should have purled, or I purled where I should have knit. No, I knit where I should have purled, about 3 rows back for about 15 stitches. And I am just not comfortable enough yet with brioche to know how to drop those rows back and re-knit them. All of the yarn overs, really, I was in over my head, and I didn't want to spend like an hour trying to fix these 15 stitches just to have to unravel it anyways. So I unraveled it and I started again. So I don't have a lot of this project to show you. I am to the point now where I have two colors going. So that is exciting, but just not as much as there goes my yarn. Okay, well, I'm not going to show you the balls of yarn that make up this project, but I will show you the project so far. So let's see if we can do this, making sure I don't drop any stitches. Here it is. So this purple yarn, I wish I remembered what this yarn was. The original yarn went into a Cthulhu themed hat that I made for my friend Adrian for his birthday back in 2018. And you know what? In 2018, I just didn't know any better. I didn't tag the yarn. I didn't make any notes as to what the yarn was. I went through my entire Instagram, and the only thing I could find was the finished project with no notes as to what the yarn was. So I have no idea. I don't know who dyed it. I don't know what the colorway is. But here it is, and it's beautiful. It is the most beautiful purple that I think I currently have, and I have no idea where it came from. So that's unfortunate. So that's the brim of the hat, and you can see starting the body here, which is also starting the brioche pattern. And this, you can't really see it very well in the light, but it's actually a really light pink. Now I'm pretty sure that this is the Malabrigo Rios Valentina colorway, which is also color number 689. It's 100% superwash merino. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I lost the tag on that one too. So I'm taking a real shot in the dark there. But isn't it pretty? Anyways, the pattern kind of goes up and it starts to look, well, I guess I included a picture, didn't I? So it looks like a fern. I am so excited for this hat, for it to be done. I will say, the brioche, I'm a pretty loose knitter as it is, so I'm using slightly smaller needles than the pattern calls for. I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles for the brim, which is US 4. And I'm using 4 millimeter needles, which is US 6 for the body of the hat. Now, I will tell you, I learned this trick from an old friend, and what she used to do when she would knit is she would have a slightly smaller needle on her left hand, because we're right-handed knitters, right-handed continental. Actually, you know what? I'm not too sure about that. I can't remember what style of knitting. Anyways, right-handed, so my working yarn is on my right. So I have my 4 millimeter US 6 needle on my right side, so all the stitches that I'm making are that size, but I actually have my 3.5 millimeter US 4 on my left so that it slides off the needle easier and I don't have to worry about forcing it quite so much, which helps me a little bit with my loose knitting, so I'm not subconsciously trying to make it a little looser so it's easier for it to slide on the needle. So it does help with my tension a little bit that way. But anyways, where was I going with this? I'm not sure. Oh, no, I do know. So I already knit a little bit loose, I do know that. I had originally started with the large size hat pattern because when I cast on the stitches, when I measured based on the pattern measurements, it came out to the large hat. But as I was knitting, it was looking a little bit big. So that was also part of the reason that I did just go ahead and frog the project. I made the medium size this time, which is an 80 stitch cast on. And I think that is going to work out a lot better for my head because this is a hat for me. Yeah. Anyways, that was a long-winded discussion about the hat size. So here it is. Super exciting. I will definitely be doing some work on this weekend, and hopefully I will have a finished hat to show you next time, depending on how long it is between now and the next podcast. Yeah. So that is it for On My Needles right now. I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I'm just going to take a really quick a drink here. I did show you this kombucha a couple podcasts ago. I picked this up at the farmer's market today. It's the Mobu kombucha brand, so it is a locally crafted kombucha. I'm pretty sure it's from here in Edmonton, but it doesn't actually say. Oh yeah, it does. Brewed with care in Edmonton by Lionel and Irene in a home kitchen. Neat. Anyways, this is their pomegranate cherry, which I love, and it is the most delicious, I think, kombucha that I've ever had. Would recommend. It is a little fizzy, as kombucha is, so my eyes are watering. Growing up, I didn't drink any pop, which has translated into my adult life as well, so pop/soda, depending on where you live. I think that's what it's called. Just call it pop here, but I never did get used to carbonated beverages, so I do tear up a little bit almost every time. And that includes ciders as well. So that's always fun. Okay. I have a finished project to show you, and I will not lie, one of the main reasons that I am filming this today is because I really, really would like to get this hat sent out for Christmas. It is a hat I knit up for a dear friend in the States, and I would really like to get it to him soon. So without further ado, here it is. I think it is so pretty. Look at that yarn. Oh, I think you probably know I love orange. Orange is my favorite color, and I gotta tell you, I am just in love with this yarn. So this is a hat pattern by me. I think there's a couple adjustments I would still like to make, especially on the crown. So it's a nice shape. I think that there is an improvement to be made, potentially. So it's a sludgy hat. It is knit up with Comfy Cozy Knits, who is a local to me yarn dyer, and it is on her woolly worsted base, which I am not currently seeing on her website, so I'm not sure if she is not dyeing on it anymore or if maybe she's just out right now, but it is her woolly worsted base and is the candy apple colorway, which is 100% superwash merino. So it's super squishy and super soft, and I just wish you could squish it. But it's got all of these beautiful shades of orange. It's got some of this candy apple red. It's got a little bit of brown, and I feel like there's a hint of green in there somewhere, but maybe I'm misremembering. This kind of looks a little greeny to me, but it's also very, very brown. So anyways, I think it is just such a nice hat, and I'm so excited for it to get to my friend there. So it is a little bit of it is a slouchy fit. It's not a little bit of a slouchy fit. It is a slouchy fit. And it is all blocked already. Blocked and dried, obviously. It's got my cat hair. It's my cat's hair on it. I don't have cat hair. It's got my cat's hair on it already, so I mean everything in my house does, but here it is on. And I am not going to take it off because I don't really want to deal with my hair after this. But here it is. I even put a little handmade tag there just because I like them and I bought them last year. And I think it's a nice little touch. So that is my most recent finished project and my only finished project in the last little bit. So there are no current or upcoming items of note. There is no stash enhancement this time around. I'm just gonna take a quick drink again. I am gonna talk a little bit about personal life for a bit, for a couple minutes, because I know I have been incredibly absent on social media, on Knittin Kitten, just in general. Obviously I've not been knitting a ton either, or crafting a ton, so I do want to just touch on that really quick because it ties into other things that are going on. I am currently in the busy season at work, so basically from mid-August to mid-December is the busiest time of the year at the place that I work, which is a HVAC company. So we do a lot of furnace and duct cleaning, we do furnace and air conditioning installs, we do furnace repairs, air conditioning repairs, hot water tanks, that sort of thing. And I am the head of our duct cleaning division, so I'm the manager, and we've got, anyways, this is the busiest time of year, so I work longer hours in the fall so that I can help manage that a little bit better, because the guys also work longer hours in the fall, so I want to be there to make sure that I can help with anything that comes up and any issues that may arise, and just kind of be some extra support for them as well, because they are having a crazy busy time in addition, and they're the ones who are out in the field. Anyways, I'm rambling. So it is just an insanely busy time of year work-wise, and it just leaves me really tired, understandably. But also, I as you may know, I took up bouldering kind of as my main sport during the course of COVID. So I used to play badminton with my former roommate Connor, and we were a doubles team. We played in a league, we played once a week, and then with COVID they kept shutting it down, the league, and restarting it and then shutting it down again, and it was getting to the point where we would pay our registration for the season, and then we may get some money back and we may not, or it may be on hold indefinitely, or who knows. And that was just really frustrating. So I took up bouldering because the bouldering place was open with the exception of the 2 or 3 major shutdowns that we had. And it's just something I really enjoyed. And then about 4 weeks ago, I'm not actually sure how long ago it was now, several weeks ago for sure, I went bouldering on my lunch, and I dropped down from the wall as you do, because there's mats everywhere, and I fell at a spot where 2 mats meet and join, and I also came down slightly more at an angle than I should have. It's just a thing that you do. Injury, it happens. There was no learning to be had here. It was just a fluke. Anyways, I came down and I landed at that spot in between the mats with my ankle, and I sprained it really, really bad. So I will post some photos here of how swollen it was for the first little bit. I may also post a quick video if I can get it here with the editing software that I have, just so you can see what the bruising looked like, because it was not good. And I was on crutches for a couple days, and I was limping for a while. I can finally now do stairs like a normal person instead of like 1 foot at a time, or 2, whatever. You know what a person looks like when they have a limp when they're going downstairs. That was me. I can finally do stairs again, mostly like I used to be able to. And now I can finally crouch like I would before. I do have about, I don't know, 70% range of motion probably, and I'm up to 55 maybe percent strength that I had prior to injuring myself. So that was really, really rough on my mental health. I was so sad. I was so sad. I have never had a major injury before. So not being able to do the things that I normally would do, just from my bouldering sport to climbing to stairs to like having to put my foot up when I was home and ice it, I was just so depressed. So I was definitely not knitting. I was not doing much of anything. I haven't been reading, I haven't been knitting, I haven't been writing, I haven't been drawing, I haven't been crafting, none of it. I've just been sad. I've just been sulking, which I laugh about, but sulking is definitely what I was doing. So now that I am starting to be able to do things again, I can definitely tell that my mood is better than it was, that's for sure. And now I'm starting to craft again, which is also a nice sign. And of course we are getting to the middle of December here, which also means that things at work are starting to slow down. So just overall, I'm feeling a little more energetic. I was telling my boss the other day, I just had to go home early. It was a really challenging day right from before I left the house. I was getting some messages and it was just super challenging. Lots of things to deal with. And I was just, you know what, my cup is just super empty right now, and I just need to go home and fill my cup. So that was a really good way to describe kind of how I was feeling. And now I'm feeling like my cup is starting to fill back up, which is spectacular because I don't like being sad. No one likes being sad. It does happen. I'm fine with being sad. It doesn't, where am I trying to go with this? It is a natural part of life. It is okay to be sad, but I do not like being sad, as most people do not. So I am glad that I am no longer feeling the way that I was, because that really sucked. And I feel really bad for everyone else who was around me as well, because I was definitely a sulky cat. And that's no fun. But that's just a little bit of an update on what has been going on, where I've been, just, you know, general touch base. So yeah, I do think that is about all I have to share today. This is actually a longer podcast than I thought it was going to be, considering how few things I had to show you, so that's exciting. But I will cut it off here before I start rambling again, because I am prone to doing that. So I hope you have an absolutely spectacular rest of your day. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful Christmas season. I hope you get to do all of the things that make you happy. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it, and I love this time that we spent together. So have a great rest of your day. Stay happy and healthy and safe and warm, and I will see you again soon.